Hey, Patrick, you know what's funnier than 24?
What?
25!
Everybody, welcome to the Geekcast podcast. My name is Greg Sinclair.
Dan Whitehead.
Patrick Howard.
And we're on episode 25.
25.
We are back. We had a 2-week hiatus? 1 week
Yeah.
hiatus?
About that.
Just a
2
week?
weeks.
Week and a half.
Weeks,
Yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So we know you missed us, Mom. And we were busy this past week. For those of you who follow us on our social media sites, we were in Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Festival, which was a blast. Ton of fun. Would you agree, both of you?
I would concur. It was a blast.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a great time. There's a lot of the great stuff we saw, great opportunities. It was actually for a class we're taking, which is really exciting. We were actually, I think it was the dude who we met at the podcasters meetup who was
Adam?
Adam, who was, no, not Adam. The guy who did like product management, who talked to me about the accounting stuff.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
He's like, what are you guys doing? He's like, oh, actually here for a class. And he was like, oh, fuck you, dude. Goes, no, it's a great opportunity. Everybody I talked to was like, wow, it's so cool. It's amazing. And we are very fortunate that here at Stevenson, we have those opportunities to check out places where
Where we have to pay for ourselves anyway.
we didn't pay for the entire thing.
Yeah.
Our parents did.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, they didn't pay for the entire thing either. I'm pretty sure weren't badges included.
Nope. That's the part of it that I paid for.
Same here.
That's why I know that.
Okay,
I paid for my badge. I paid for my own food.
right. But what about flights and hotel?
That's what my parents
That's my
covered.
parents, yeah.
So we paid for the full thing.
Did we really?
Yeah, school had nothing to do with it.
Oh, what the fuck, Stevenson?
All Stevenson did, well, Chris Reed really, which we have to thank,
Yeah.
is he organized it.
Okay,
But
well,
as far as like paying for it, we did that all ourselves.
Did we really? I feel
Yeah.
like it was less than
He
that.
might have found us like deals, but it wasn't
He
like
actually,
Stevenson dishing out money.
He also paid a little extra for us, like early bird flights and stuff like that, just
True.
to get us for
Yeah,
tickets.
yeah, for the red eye.
So
yeah.
it wouldn't be like B section; it'd be A section.
True. But yeah, regardless, thank you, Christopher Reed,
Christopher Llewellyn Reed.
Llewellyn Reed, for the opportunity.
You the man.
We are forever grateful. We look forward to future adventures as such. But as far as South by goes, we're just going to talk about kind of our favorite parts about what we experienced. Do any of you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I think, not excluding films, I think one of the best parts was going to this panel with J.J. Abrams and another filmmaker who I hadn't heard of was Andrew Jarecki, who did a film, like a documentary about the serial killer Bob Durst, and also he created this new app called Nomi where you can like shoot films, do narrations, and also insert pictures into like this little collage video of experiences wherever, and he used South by as an example. And at the panel, J.J. Abrams talked about just new innovations in technology and how he's employing them into his films and with his company Bad Robot. But he also made sure that the story is really what's important, that just new innovations of technology can't replace that or can't make a good story. It comes down to the artist knowing how to tell a compelling story with interesting characters. And I mean, that's why I loved hearing that, because he's one of my favorite filmmakers today, and he fucking gets it. And also he also showed kind of like a trailer, like a reel of his upcoming show called Westworld, which I'm actually excited, which is about like this group of scientists recreating different time periods through androids, and then the androids kind of realizing, like, coming to be realizing who they are. So that looked really interesting.
That's with Ed Harris, right?
Actually,
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Ed Harris plays the robot.
I think he was in that too.
That's a remake of a show from like
In
the
70s,
80s or
yeah.
80s, something like
Mhm.
that, yeah. That looked cool. That's been in development for a while.
Yeah, so it's cool to get like a look at it. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Dan?
Ooh, well, first off, shout out to our new homies that we met at South by. Any of the podcasters, if you happen to check out this week.
Oh, you didn't bring the cards? Yeah.
I didn't, because I thought we were going to have a chance to run back to the room and I can grab them. But maybe next week I'll grab them and we can give them a shout. But if you happen to be listening this week, thank you for listening. And thanks for talking to us if you got the chance to.
Extremely helpful advice, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
And maybe we helped you a little bit, and all that good stuff. But anyone even that wasn't at the podcast or meetup that we just talked to, or mentioned our thing to and whatever, thanks for supporting us. We have a new short up, and it's very, very short. It's a minute and a half, or minute 40 seconds or something like that, called Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Breakfast. So make sure you check that out. It just came out today, being Sunday. It shows our excitement for the movie coming out this Thursday.
Yes. Super excited.
Yep.
As far as South by Southwest goes, I wasn't sure what to expect from it because I've never really been to a film festival before. So I wasn't sure what the vibe was going to be. And going into it, I kind of was like, yeah, this will be cool, but I'm probably going to end up liking like a place like Sundance better or whatever. And now a week past it, or going through the week, whatever, I'm the opposite. I love South by Southwest. Obviously, I haven't been to Sundance yet. Getting a little Foo Fighters in here. Oh, okay,
Oh.
that was fun. But now, having gone to South by Southwest, I love it. I'm going to
Sorry, the music was really loud.
borrow something from Seth Rogen when he said that he loves South by Southwest because they're so open to comedy and treat it like dramas.
Which they definitely do.
Yeah, they treat it just like any of the movies. If it's a good movie, it's in it. It doesn't matter, comedy, drama, horror, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a really cool vibe they got there. Very, it almost feels very liberal and just very
It's very
open-minded.
open. Yeah, open for everything.
So I've seen a wide range of movies there, from Demolition, which is about a guy with no emotions, or struggling with his emotions rather, to cops who take bribes and just do whatever they want, as far as a comedy goes, to a horror thriller. So I've seen all walks of movies there.
What horror thriller did you see?
The Waiting.
Oh, yeah.
And all of them good. I couldn't really tell you anything that was horrible. I mean, there's definitely movies that I liked more than others.
Oh, what was the worst one you saw?
Worst one I saw was, and hopefully they're not listening, but
probably not.
constructive criticism, was Liberators, and it was
Yeah,
just
same,
because the pacing was not.
Liberators is about.
Yeah,
It's very similar to The Monuments Men, which was the movie about the
It was about a group,
army who
yeah.
was going to find stolen art from the Nazis.
Mhm.
And it was about this, and Liberators is about actually this American soldier who unknowingly took art that he didn't know was super valuable to the German culture somewhere in Texas, and they ended up finding it through that. So
And it's a documentary
Yeah.
versus Monuments Men being a narrative. But yeah, just the story was interesting, just wasn't well executed
It
to
wasn't
me.
really unfocused.
Yeah, and
it
so
was all over the place.
the pacing wasn't it was a little slow and things like that. So that was probably my least favorite movie, but it wasn't horrible.
Okay.
It wasn't a horrible movie to me. Best movie, I couldn't tell you because I've seen a lot of good stuff that all had their own reasons for being good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of my favorites, though, was Everybody Wants Some.
Mm-hmm.
Pee Wee Herman. I mean, I can just rattle off my top choices. Pee Wee Herman, Demolition.
You only get 3.
That's it.
You only get 3.
See, I need 5. Top 5.
Nope, top 3.
I'm going to do 5. Miles Ahead and Don't Think Twice. Those are my 5.
Okay, that's fine.
You can do 3. I don't give a fuck. But I'm going to do 5.
That's fine.
Oh, and we apologize for the extra cursing. We're still on it this
The
week.
environment at South by is just so relaxed and cool. And even during the conversations, we all, at least Dan and I, sat through conversations with Jake Gyllenhaal, Joel Egerton, the Duplass brothers, Sarah Green, and Don Cheadle.
Edgerton.
Thank you. And with all of them, they're just so relaxed in the way they talk and just constant swearing.
Yeah,
So we even swearing
like a motherfucker.
the entire week. So it's going to take us a while to get used to that. So I'm sorry, Mom, for all the swearing I'm probably going to do this show. My experience at South by.
Sure.
Oh, are you done? You ranked
No,
your
I'm just-
movies.
yeah, you're
Okay. Just a jerk. My experience at South by was very eye-opening for me.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to get super deep.
I'm just kidding.
But no. I'm an accounting major, as some of you might know, and with that, I also have a film minor, and because of the film minors, I was able to take this course and really go on this trip. But through all the different people I talked to and I listened to, it was just very eye-opening to me just to see the environment of the film industry, independent film industry, and it made me really excited. So it really made me contemplate really made me contemplate what I want to do when I grow up. So I'm very excited to really just kind of assess that and take all those steps to make sure that what I want to do is done. So it was very helpful in that sense. As far as movies go, yeah, there wasn't too many that I disliked. I saw a lot of documentaries and a lot of narratives. And my top 3 personally are Everybody Wants Some, which is David Linklater, who did Richard
Linklater.
I knew it. As soon as I said it, I was like, that
Did you
doesn't
say
sound
Dick
right.
or-
David,
okay.
Yeah, Richard Linklater.
Yeah, but you give me shit when I say Dean Franco. Richard Linklater.
How many people know who Richard Linklater is? Compared to
A
Dave?
lot of people.
They're starting
Really,
to
compared
now.
to Dave Franco?
It's Dean Franco. That was his half brother.
Richard Linklater. Ladder.
I think it's later. Later.
Whatever. He
Yeah,
also
tomato.
did Dazed and Confused with Matthew McConaughey.
Among many other good movies.
But the reason I say Dazed and Confused is because Everybody Wants Some they call it a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Definitely was.
And it definitely has the same vibe compared to High School Kids. It takes place in college, with freshman being its first weekend in a way, leading up to his first day of classes.
They were saying it's a sequel or a spiritual sequel to Boyhood, too. Because Boyhood ends with him about to go to college, and this one picks up. Not that they're the same character, but just kind of like telling
Did
one.
Linklater do Boyhood too?
Yeah, he did Boyhood. He's at School of Rock. He's done the Before trilogy, which is like Before Sunrise.
Oh, with Ethan Hawke, yeah.
Okay.
Like more rom-com-y kind
All right.
of movies. But
yeah, so that one was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Number 2 on my list is Sausage Party.
that's right, I forgot about that.
I forgot about Sausage. So Sausage Party, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the trailer drop. It actually dropped within hours after we saw a work in progress rough cut of the movie at South by. Yes, we got an exclusive look at it. Work in progress meaning a lot of the stuff was still stilled, and actually at one point it was
Hand drawn.
hand drawing.
Just animatics, yeah.
So super rough cut, but it was complete. It was probably one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, in the sense of the originality of the idea is just something so new, and the concepts, what they were going for all the references to food they made. Overall, it was just so good. Just so funny. Rogan and Goldberg definitely did an excellent job. Really excited for you all to see it. I think they said sometime in August it's coming out.
Yep.
But it was just so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those where I think it was pretty last minute that they decided to do it.
Yeah, that's what's her bitch was saying.
Janet Pearson.
She was so crabby, man. She was.
Just for that screening, or?
Just in general.
Just the week.
Yeah.
She was just like,
Well, it would be like this, like when questions would come up and like, oh, it's the last one, and like I don't know, she's just
Well, I mean,
very
they got like time.
No, I know, but like at the same time, it's like, it's okay, you know. A couple of minutes to spare, it's okay.
well, I mean, she's the head of the.
She's got a lot on her plate. The
part of the festival, so I'm sure she's super busy all the time and really stressed out. But take a sedative, Jesus.
Yeah. Shit. Anyway, voice acting was great, and
the choices were great.
Yeah.
The choices of all the voice actors were spot on.
Kristen Wiig as like a bun or something.
She's the bun. Seth Rogen plays Frank the Sausage.
Yep.
Michael Cera and Jonah Hill also play sausages. Edward Norton's also in there.
Sammy Bagel Jr.
So is James Franco, who we've yet to figure out who he is.
I'm thinking he's the rap, the Arab rap.
Okay. There's also Nick Kroll,
He was the douche.
who plays the douche, like
Literally a douche.
like a douche, like a female vaginal cleansing device. Like that's the role he plays.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you seen the Kroll show, he pretty much uses the voice of the like 17-year-old baby daddy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, bro, here's what we're gonna do, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he's
that
also
kind of
in
thing.
My Blind Brother.
He was also my
Very
brother.
different role for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so just you gotta check it out. Just go see it. When
Yeah.
it comes out this summer, go see it. It's if you don't see it, we're probably not gonna talk to you
But
ever again.
be open to seeing some stuff.
Yeah, there's a ton of swearing, and there's a ton. And so the premise of the movie, as Seth Rogen has pitched to show it for production companies, is what if there was a movie about a bunch of food who just wanted to bang each other?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. So just take that and think about it and ponder it, and when you go see it, you won't be totally mad
This is
because
from
we
Sony.
warned you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Sony. Well, Sony lets them do it. Well, Sony, they've, I think, produced most of their work.
They're a Japanese company, so I think the Japanese are a little more open-minded when it comes to stuff like that.
That's so true. Oh, that's so true. Yeah, but yeah, definitely check out Sausage Party. And then my third was Don't Think Twice, which Dan mentioned, which was written and directed by Mike Birbiglia, who is most known for probably his stand-up comedy. But it falls around a improv group, which also consists of Keegan-Michael Key and Gillian Jacobs from Community and Love. And it just follows this improv group. Some of them wanting to go on to what they call like Weekend Live, which is pretty much SNL.
Mm-hmm.
And that transition, and then just like growing up through this process. And it's really interesting, and I thought it was really well done because it definitely depicts the emotion and the situations that happen during these kind of events. And I thought it was funny all the time. Most jokes landed. I think there was maybe one that didn't, if I can't even think of it though, but I thought it was really well done.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like raunchy humor either. It
was
like
just
classy humor.
It was clever. It was very clever. Sausage Party, it's a Seth Rogen movie. It's going to be gross.
Right. It's like gross and grotesque and raunchy humor.
Like
Right.
potty humor or something like that.
Potty humor,
Potty
exactly.
humor. Patrick, would you like to discuss your top three?
Yeah, my top three were first one was Hush, directed by Mike Flanagan, who also did Oculus, who actually was once a student of one of our professors, G.T. Keplinger. It's about this deaf blind woman who's also kind of an author, and she's working on her book, and she's having trouble like coming up with an ending. And then during that, she's actually being stalked by this serial killer who she managed to kind of like stalks her and in her house, and they have this they kind of it's all takes place in this one house, but they also do a great job of like just utilizing the whole house, like literally like from like top to bottom. And it was one of the most tense horror film like thrillers I've seen in years, and I would dare say it's one of the best slasher films I've seen in years too. And I'm not really a big fan of slasher films other than like Halloween, but that's not because it's not like Friday the 13th, which is more exploitative. Halloween and Hush included plays more on like just the fears and just the tense long scenes of just quietness. This film is a great experimental film with sound, with the woman being deaf, and also like at the very beginning they like heighten the sound.
She's deaf?
She's deaf, yeah.
Wow.
I know, which I think it's so cool that we get a heroine who's also like disabled as well.
That's really interesting.
So yeah,
You said she's blind too, right?
no, it's just deaf. That's just
Just
blind. Okay,
thought you
no,
said
she's
both.
deaf.
Okay.
That's not like a Helen Keller situation.
I was gonna say, so Helen Keller's just being haunted.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But so that was a great film, one of the best I've seen, and that was like I think on Saturday, so it was like right off the bat. It was a great week. And then my number two,
And then Patrick's week just steadily declined.
not that bad, but kind of like nothing really topped Hush for me. And then number two was Pee-wee's Big Holiday, which is like I think after 28 years, Pee Wee Herman came back, and which was great. It was so funny, and I've seen like clips and bits of the show, and even like the Tim Burton film.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Other than it just being really funny, the film did a great job of me wanting to actually go back to Pee Wee Herman's like.
That's what I mean. Those are the older ones.
Yeah,
on
I know. Yeah,
Netflix too. Yeah.
and it made me want to check that stuff out. So like, I think after this, I'm gonna try to watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure on Netflix.
It's fun.
And number three was Miles Ahead, starring and directorial debut by Don Cheadle.
And also
Written by
Co-written, yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
by what was the dude, like some bagel?
A Bagelman.
Yeah,
Michael Bagelman.
I don't think it was Michael. Something Bagelman.
Steve
Steve
Bagel-
I think it was
Steve
Steve Bagelman.
And like,
If that's not like the most Jewish name.
Especially after Sammy Bagel Jr.
Sorry, continue.
so, I'm a big fan of biopics, but even I will admit that that genre has like really strong like cliches, and usually a lot of times they'll play it safe. They'll do it from like birth to death. But with Miles Ahead, what made it really unique was that it only took place during like a 2-day period, and it played more like a heist film as well, which I think made it really stand out. And also, I really give props to Don Cheadle for like kind of like experimenting, be a little bit more artistic with just the film in general.
Yeah.
Like I think, especially with the transitions from the present day and the 70s, I believe it was 70s. Yeah, to the 50s, 60s era. And
No, I think it was the 80s.
Was it the 80s and then to
I
the
think no, was it the 70s?
70s.
It was 70s?
late 70s, probably into the 60s?
He said, I remember during the conversation that he wanted all of the dissolves to like back in time, like when they would go to the flashback, when they came back, they like time jumped. So like normally with a flashback, it's like flashback happens and then bam, you're right back to where they were exactly standing, almost like as if they were thinking about it right there. With the flashback in Miles Ahead, they would go to the flashback and they'd come back and he's in a different spot or he's already like doing something else.
But the sound of the motion that was happening, it was very good transitions.
Right.
It was very relatable to what was going on in either time. It was probably the most innovative biopic I've seen.
I agree. Like there's one scene where like he's in an elevator. I'm not really gonna spoil the scene too much, but like he's in an elevator and he's seeing all these pictures of like all the famous artists that the Columbia Records has sponsored, including one Frances. I can't remember her last name, but his old flame. And then in the transition, that's where he kind of like breaks the back wall of the elevator and goes in, and then there's the transition of him performing at a club, I think. And that was just it. Honestly, obviously, it breaks reality, but it was such an artistic way just to get into it and utilizing the medium to its fullest degree.
Bravo to Don Cheadle
not for playing it safe,
doing this. Not playing it safe and really having this idea, because in the conversation, which was basically just somebody interviewing him and with an audience around it, was that when he first had he said the reason he chose to do a Miles Davis movie is Miles Davis got inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in like 2006. And they interviewed his nephew, Vince, and they were like, so Vince, who's going to play Miles Davis in the biopic? He's like, oh, that's easy, Don Cheadle. And Don Cheadle's like, well, now I guess I got to do it.
Well, shit.
So when they approached the idea, they approached to the family this kind of like weird, kind of having weird fantasy flashbacks and not really doing a standard biopic, and the family was like, that's really interesting. If you can do it. And so he pitched it around to some of his friends in Hollywood, and nobody was really willing to do it. So he was like, shit, I guess I got to do it. So then he wrote it with Steve Bagelman, and out came this beautiful story about this musician and what really meant a lot to him through the process of his career.
It also stars Ewan McGregor, who plays this
Yes.
a reporter for the Rolling Stones, who's fantastic.
Love me some Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Dave.
Oh fuck, Brandy or Bransky or something like that.
Something, I don't know.
But yeah, those two have really good chemistry in the present day.
Yeah.
Scenes. So definitely go check that out when it comes out. I think
That was one of my honorable mentions.
April. I think April.
First week honorable mentions. I also have Demolition and Hardcore Henry and Judd and Friends were my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Took notes for the podcast?
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Well, I wanted to like write out like what all I saw.
Right.
So, Demolition, which comes out soon.
They all come out pretty soon.
Yeah. Demolition stars Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays an investment banker that works for his wife's dad. And his wife dies, which isn't a spoiler because I'm pretty sure it's in the trailer. And he realizes that he's actually not sad that his wife dies, and he's kind of confused about that and wondering, then what has my life meant all this time? So in Demolition, he's taking apart things to figure out their meaning, so he can figure out his own meaning of why don't I feel saddened by my wife's death. And it's an interesting role for Jake Gyllenhaal because he really plays this super awkward but funny guy. Not purposely funny, it's just the situations that are presented to him and the way he handles situations are just very funny and like awkward funny.
Right.
But also very good. There was good understory with the son of the one customer service rep of a vending machine company, and
Well, why? Tell him why there's that connection. Like, how does he meet her?
so as soon when his wife's in the hospital, he's also in the hospital and he's waiting for the announcement, and he goes to the vending machine and tries to get peanut M&Ms, I think.
Yep.
And the conveyor belt gets stuck, or the coil gets stuck in the vending machine. So he writes a letter to the company, and in writing so to the company complaining about the vending machine, he's basically not complaining, but telling the story of how his wife died and how he feels nothing and all these different things. And the customer service rep actually calls him saying like, hey, are you okay? And they kind of form this bond. And I don't want to give too much away because I think you guys should see it, but they just kind of have their own relationship. She's his son, and you see how that process handles out through his discovery of his emotions toward his deceased wife. And then somebody else want to take Hardcore Henry?
Okay, Hardcore Henry is basically.
You sound so unexcited to do this.
Yeah, like
Jesus.
no, but Hardcore Henry is like something you watch once, and it's basically like watching yourself play a video game for 2 hours in first person, because the whole movie is done in first person, which is very innovative. First movie to do it. It made sense to do it as an action movie, but like that's all it has going for it. The story is something we've seen before. Guy's in trouble. People are after him. Endless amounts of
Girlfriend got
henchmen.
kidnapped, yeah.
Yeah, endless amount of henchmen for him to beat up.
Yeah.
And a complex villain.
Yeah.
To get to.
Yeah. Other than that, the only real innovation is the first person idea, which if you have like severe motion sickness like I do, like Dad, I know you probably listening to this, do not sit in the farthest row as possible, because I was sitting probably 10 rows back from the front, and in the first 20 minutes, half hour, I was super nauseous. I had to step outside, take a breath of fresh air, and end up coming back in and just sitting on the floor in the back because I just got so nauseous.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, it's very similar to a video game. Like if you're playing Call of Duty and you just have your thumb going right on the right joystick and you're just spinning in a circle and you're kind of getting that weird like shaky feeling. And that's all he's doing. He's fighting people. He's going through different places, but it's all through first person. And I get super nauseous when that comes to that kind of stuff. So be sure if you do have some sort of motion sickness, to sit as far back from the screen as possible, because you will probably throw up.
Yes.
PSA.
But yeah, I mean, again, don't see it for the story. You're seeing it for the
Just the fact that they could do it. Like
and then
that.
that they pulled it off.
And yeah, it was impressive. Like I think the action, the stunts, and the editing, just to make it look like they did most of those stunts, was really impressive. But for me, I think around like the hour mark, I was just kind of zoning out and then going back in and zoning out and just the experimental first person shooter perspective, and also just the gore was just a little tiresome, and I was just kind of like just waiting it to.
It definitely could have been a really
solid
cool
like
short film.
40-minute short video or something like that.
Speaking of short films, that was one of the things I didn't get the opportunity to check out, and I kind of regret, was seeing just like what short films are out there and like what people are doing these days, and like what South by is accepting. Because my goal is to put my senior project into South by, because I feel like now that's a place that will, like a big film festival that will accept it, like as long as it comes out well and they like it or whatever. So I didn't get a chance to check out the short films, and I wish I did, but yeah.
No, definitely. I agree. And then, so, I mean, it's interesting. It's cool, the first person thing. If you want to check it out, go ahead. We're not overly pitching it to you guys.
Sharktar Copley, I thought was cool. He pretty much plays a character, like a video game character, keeps on coming back to life. He's got like endless amount of lives, and
spoiler.
Yeah, but like that's and
Asshole.
He was cool.
There you go. And then my final honorable mention was Judd Apatow and Friends. They're actually able to bring out Judd Apatow for pretty much a day and do a stand-up. So it was him.
Yeah, they got him out of the closet for the day and dusted him off.
He's not gay. He's
no. But I just mean like you made it sound like they like went and got him for we got Judd Apatow for the day. Let's send him out.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's all right. Go back.
Release him from his cage.
Right.
He was the host. The comedians were the legendary Robert Klein, who is a very famous and hilarious comedian. They also got Nate Bargatze, who has been, they said he was on like Tonight Show and he's probably had a couple specials on Comedy Central. He was funny. And then Hannibal Buress just happened to be in town the week, so they got him, and he was also fun. Everybody killed. Everybody did a great job. And unfortunately, I didn't get to meet my hero, Judd Apatow.
Or Little Dicky.
Or Little Dicky. I didn't get to see Little Dicky, guys. It was really upsetting for me. I was like right there in line, and I was planning on bribing the bouncer. I had $20 right behind my license. I was so ready, but there were like 6 bouncers there, and I had to assess the situation. I was like,
it was for the best.
Yeah, I was like,
I think we got in more trouble if
if
you tried to bribe them. I feel like, I don't know.
I don't know if I would have gotten in trouble. They probably just would have taken my money and then kicked me out afterwards. But no, I was super upset I couldn't see Little Dicky. I didn't see Jazzy Jeff either because I was way later, and they were already running late with Little Dicky. I was just like, I won't see any music, which was fine. But no, I'm kind of sad Judd didn't do a Q&A afterwards. After most of the screenings of movies and everything, they did Q&As. And Judd, I wanted him to sign.
They did a Q&A after Pee Wee with him.
Yeah, but I didn't want to like be, hey Judd, let's not focus on Pee Wee and focus on just you sign my book. You know what I mean? I have his book Sick in the Head, which I highly recommend. It's just Judd interviewing a whole bunch of comedians trying to figure out the essence of comedy. It's very entertaining. But yeah, I wanted him to sign my book, and also wanted to give him a card for our podcast. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So another day, Judd Apatow. Another day, our lives will cross paths, and we'll make a movie together.
Guess we all have to have dreams.
Yeah.
Huh.
But no, that was very good. The Q&As were fun. Dan and I asked several questions. I think how many you asked Seth Rogen? You talked to Seth Rogen. Who else you talked to?
Butch Vig.
Butch Vig. That's right.
And
I thought that was
I
it.
think that's it.
I talked to Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. I talked to Sarah Green, who is a producer of movies like The Tree of Life. And
Who was
Well,
more
well,
interesting than I
Terrence
thought she'd be.
she was very interesting. And
that was a good.
she was
conversation.
actually a person who was very helpful to me in life, which is what I was talking about earlier. But again, won't get too deep. And I also talked to Don Cheadle, which I'm upset I couldn't talk to Don Cheadle more. I tried pitching an idea to Don Cheadle through the Q&A. I let him know I had an idea for a movie because in this conversation he talked about, or someone asked him why he doesn't do more comedies, and he said that nobody really asked me to do comedies. If anybody has an idea, let me know. So I was like, I have an idea. So I told him about it. He's like, oh yeah, see me afterwards. And then I went to see him afterwards, and he wasn't there. So I emailed his publicity manager for South by, who did not get back to me, and I'm not totally upset about it because the idea I thought of, I kind of took it in a different direction where he wouldn't totally fit in, but at the same time, the idea I still had for him, I think could still be interesting. But yeah, so Don, I know you're listening out there, so be sure to hit me up for this couple $1,000 profit idea.
That's my selling price.
Yeah, really. No, the conversations were good. South by in Austin itself was just such a fun experience. I really didn't want to leave afterwards. I was really happy that this is how I spent my spring break compared to pretty much just sitting on my ass at home.
Seriously, this is like the most
doing nothing.
Memorable I think spring break I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me too.
And I'm really excited to definitely check it out again at some point in my life, whether it be as a spectator or as a filmmaker. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
/ accountant, depending on how you decide to.
/ line for
Depending on how I decide to do with my life. But conversation for another day. What else are we going to talk about, guys? That was pretty much all South by.
I mean, we could just call it a short one today, and that's it. Or
I'll for like wrap thoughts on South by. It's just, guys, if you really are invested in being a filmmaker, just go to South by. Go to any film festival that's near you, even if you, or just go there near you or far away, because it's worth the expensive trip. Because it's very enlightening. I learned a lot in terms of like networking, like in terms of me, like just me coming out of my shell. Because you guys,
Patrick definitely did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a pretty quiet guy on the show, and I I've never done this much networking before at the podcast meetup. I was talking to other podcasters.
I was so proud.
I was actually shocked that he was talking so much. I thought that you and I were.
Yeah,
I honestly did.
I thought the same thing. Like I'm gonna be in the corner. Like no, I just.
I think I talked the least of you.
stepped in.
Well, when I was with you guys.
I think you did too. Yeah.
So it's South by is like a great place just to come out of your shell if you're a guy or guy like me. So
The other advice we got from South by Southwest is just make shit,
Just do it.
whether bad or good.
Which you hear all the time. You listen to any interview to any person in the film industry asking, so like, what do like students need to do to just get in here and really just become filmmakers? And the answer is always just do it. Just go ahead and do it.
And do it on your own.
And it's okay if it's like if some of the first stuff you make is bad because it's a learning process.
Yeah,
it's art.
Yeah,
you're gonna get better.
The Duplass brothers always told us like it's okay if it's shit as long as you're making stuff.
I think that
pretty
was the
much.
most helpful conversation to me.
Yeah, Mark and Jay Duplass. Mark's in The League. Jay is in Transparent, and they also do their own show, which is
Togetherness.
Togetherness on HBO, which stars Mark, but is also written and directed by Mark and Jay, who are just super great guys. But no, definitely have. I mean, they have the entire film festival circuit to thank for their success because they just kept making shorts and whatever and just submitting them year after year after year. That's pretty much how they have their career right now. But even with saying just do it, it didn't hit me until I was in the environment of South by or in the environment of a film festival that you just got to do it because you're there and you're seeing people, physically seeing people who are like the Duplasses were literally 20 feet away from us, and actually seeing them talk about it, it just goes. The thought just goes into you more like, oh yeah, I just got to do it. That's really all it is. I just really have to do it.
Right.
We're really excited to see Batman vs Superman on Thursday in IMAX. Be sure to stay tuned next week for our full review on that, and be sure to check out our short Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Breakfast. Share it, like it, do whatever you want with it. We think it's funny. We think it's good.
Shot it on our iPhone.
Shot it on our iPhone, yeah. Even, I mean, if you couldn't tell by some of the off-focus stuff. Also check out our friend Ryan Share at Lethal Llama on his YouTube page, LEETHAL Llama. And
we should probably say check out Young Poet since we're going to be seeing Seth soon.
yeah, we'll be seeing Seth, who's been on our show a couple of times. We'll be watching Batman vs Superman with us. So make sure you're looking out for Young Poet and their album. I have no idea if it dropped yet or not. I haven't heard.
We'll have to talk to him about
I haven't
it.
heard anything. Yeah.
And we're going to see with our friend Gerald, who was on the one episode of Holy Podcast Batman. That we
Right.
did.
Yeah.
For Geekcast, we're looking to expand a little bit more. We've divvied up social media duties. I said duties. So we're trying to make it more consistent with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll definitely be having more activity on there. And we're actually also looking into doing our own reviews for television shows.
And also trailer reactions.
Movies and trailer reactions. Really just provide more information to you guys. We definitely want to get our name brand out there. And from South by, hearing different people talk, we've heard this is the best way to do so, and we're actually really interested in it as well. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Check out our website, which is on, I think, all of the social media platforms in some way, shape, or form, where our articles will be posted. And I think that's everything.
So yeah, visit us same geek time, same geek channel, guys.
Deuces.